Hey everybody, it's SPX 2019. My name is Joe.
I'm Rusty,
And
and with us we have
Neil Cohen.
Neil Cohen. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, what brings you to SPX this year?
Well, I come every year. I've been coming probably this is my fifth or sixth year of attending.
Nice.
Looking to exhibit eventually. I'm actually trying to get my kids. Both my kids are illustrators. They're
Awesome.
looking to put together their first professional illustrated work, and I hope next year they're going to have their debut novel here, graphic novel here at SPX. That's the goal.
exciting.
Yeah. So I'm trying to guide them in the way, but the other way I'm here to actually promote myself, as I'm always promoting myself because I'm pushy.
That's the way to do it.
There you go. My new book, Business is Dead, Resurrecting Entrepreneurship, is coming out October 1st. It'll be Barnes & Noble nationwide. It's
Nice.
actually my fourth book. It's focused on entrepreneurship within the fandom community. Much like gentlemen like yourself, podcasters, broadcasters, artists, authors, charitable events, anyone that has started or runs a business that is focused on fandom, meaning Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead, small press, anyone who wants to start a business based on their passion for pop culture, that's what the book is about.
Nice.
So what have you been to SPX before?
That's what I said.
Yeah, 5 years.
5 years,
Well,
sorry,
let's
yeah.
start
yeah.
again. Let's pay
No,
attention.
no, sorry,
Way
I-
to pay attention. I've actually bored you in my first 30
No, that's not
seconds
it.
opening.
That's not it at all.
No.
That's not it
so
at all.
yes, no,
Yeah.
I've been coming here for about 5-6 years. I actually, this is my fourth book.
Right, no, I heard all that.
Yeah, but
It
I
was the-
launched my first book
Yeah.
was actually an illustrated novel. I wouldn't say it's a graphic novel. It had 20 pages of sequential illustration in it. I self-published it. I did not get into SPX the first year. But I went out and marketed myself, and that's what actually got me a publishing deal. And that's when my other 3 books followed, but it was my self-published illustrated novel that kicked it all off.
Well, I guess I was thinking about the type of book that you have here and the type of books that, from when I looked at your book, that you've written prior. What is it about them that connects you to SPX, people making their own comics, being a part of this community? Like, I guess, what inspires you about it through your work?
Well, it's where I started. So every fantrepreneur, I call them, starts somewhere. I wanted to write a book. I really, honestly, did not have the confidence in myself to think that I could write a book. But I was obsessed with graphic novels. I wanted to write the next Watchmen. So I figured, you know what? I'll write an illustrated novel where instead of doing a lot of exposition on the writing, I will hire illustrators and draw it out. Well, it was good. I liked it a lot, and I really loved that industry. When I got published the first time, the publisher was like, well, I'm not really interested in the illustrations. We don't do graphic novels, we do books, so you're gonna need to rewrite this without the illustrations. But it forced me, it threw me into the pool to actually write a real, full novel. And it took me 3 years, it wasn't easy.
Wow.
I finished it, published it, it hit. The publisher says, I need 2 more. I wrote 2 more. After I was done with those 2, I said, I'm done. Writing is brutal, just
Yeah.
like anything else. It is brutal, it is isolating, it is everything that I am not. I'm a social person. You cannot be social when you write. You have to kind of lock yourself away. And so when I finished the 3rd book, I said, that's it, I'm done. I'm done with fiction novels. But then I went out, obviously, as I had been since the beginning, selling, marketing it. And I'm meeting all these people, like the people here at SPX. People who have full-time day jobs, who have professional careers, but who have never given up that passion in their life of saying, I want to do this. I've got a creative idea, and I want to make it happen. And they did. And then I had so many other people come to me and say, how the hell did you do this? I have been thinking of launching my own fandom-based bakery or my own book or my own art line of artwork for 6, 7, 8 years. And I'm waiting till I retire, or I'm waiting till my kids go to college, or I'm waiting for some inevitable timeline. It's never
Something vague and in the
It's
future.
never gonna, and I always said, you don't need to, man. And they always said, well, how the hell did you do it? You work a full-time job, you got kids. And so that's why I wrote this book. I said, so many people have come to me, and I've been giving advice. And I do have a background in this. I've got an MBA in business. I've been in business for 30 years in corporate growth. I do have a background in marketing, advertising, launching small businesses. So I said, well, this is something I feel passionate about. This is something, there's obviously a need out there for. People are looking for help in this world. And that's why I wrote Business is Dead, Resurrecting Entrepreneurship. And it came out. I said I would never write again, but this one just came out.
So you emphasize entrepreneurship through fans or fantrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurship.
Right. And so that would, I would think, traditionally be about someone trying to carve out a niche surrounding something they are passionate about.
Yes.
A media property or a hobby, something. And so they're going to build a project, a creative endeavor around it.
Yes.
Most people at this show are basically their own fans, where they're making the books that they want to see out there. So how can they take lessons from your book about kind of people who are carving out a niche in somebody else's property's world maybe,
Yep.
versus promoting your own work, promoting things you make?
Everything is slightly derivative of something that came before. Now look at me. I wrote 3 zombie novels. The zombie genre, believe it or not, there's actually been a couple movies or books written about zombies.
I've heard something about those, yes.
Can you believe it? No. But I had my own idea. I had a completely unique idea on how to approach the zombie genre. Now, yes, lots of zombie stories have been written before, but mine, I feel, are approaching it very differently. I went out, like I said, when I first wrote the book, I went to publishers and I said, hey, go pound sand. Come to me when you've got 1 million followers and you've written 5 books. Well,
Yeah.
I'd written my first book, so I went out and self-published it, hired my own illustrator, self-published it, and then came to shows like this and went and marketed it and grew a fan base. And then I got picked up by the publisher, and his exact words to me, Neil, you're not the greatest writer, but I've got 100 great writers who can't sell 3 books, and you know how to sell books, so people want to read what you're writing. So I had found my own fan base, and I started building a following. There's not one person in this room that's going to be successful if they don't figure out how to find their fan base, how to generate a fan base. One of the things, when I first started this, I went to a lot of cons like this, Small Press Expo, and I met the fantrepreneurs, the entrepreneurs, the artists, the illustrators. Brilliant, creative people, introverts. These are quiet, these are shy people. They are comfortable drawing. I would stand at their table and look through their work, and they wouldn't even make eye contact with me. They're drawing. They're working on their next project. They've paid a lot of money for this booth. They have traveled a long way to be here. The customer is in front of them. They're not even making eye contact. They're not engaging. One of my chapters is in there is Fantrepreneurs of Fantrepreneurs. Or fans of fans of fantrepreneurs. And I interviewed a lot of people. I said, you know, there's 1 million artists out there. Why do you pick this artist? Why do you go to Comic-Cons or pop culture cons or Small Press Expos and seek out that creator and buy their work year after year? And they explained to me why they do. The tips, the keys that those creators do to engage with their fans and build a repetitive fan base. Selling one book is not going to make you a success. If you create one book and then they never come back and buy a second, you blew it. If you came here and you haven't engaged with a fan base, then everyone has to buy. This is, the people that have paid to be in here are all prospective fans. Engage with them, get to know them. Even if they don't want your stuff, find out what they do want, what are they interested in, talk to them. This is your potential customer, and a lot of these people don't know that. They're brilliant creative, but they don't know how to do the sales. That they screw up the end game.
What is what is the important difference to you between someone who makes what they want versus someone who does market research? Because you said this person might not be a customer for what you're selling. Find out what they want.
I know exactly where you're going. Excellent question. There's two types of entrepreneurs. I have met some that create very unique, very bizarre creations. Not my taste. But if they do this, and one thing about this, my book, I say in the beginning, this is not for someone that says, I want to become rich. I want to quit my job and escape my life and become a millionaire, and this is how I'm going to do it. You're not. Right. Never. If that's the reason you're doing this, go start a Subway franchise. This is for someone who has passion in what they're doing. So let's just say I'm creating something that I've conceptualized, and it's unique, and maybe it's bizarre, and maybe I can find one other person on the other side of the planet who is willing to pay for my creation and finds a fan, then I'm a success. Now, that's not everybody. Other people say, well, I do want to have more, I want to do what I'm doing, but I want to have a bit of a mass market appeal. Well, those are the people that definitely have to kind of tweak and come up with more of a mass pop culture product that will have a broader audience. You got to decide. If you say, you know what, I'm going to create this, I'm going to be passionate, I'm going to be honest to my vision, and if one other person buys in on it, I'm a success. If I've sold one, I'm a success. Or there's other people that say, you know what, I want to be creative, but I also want to have a more of a mass market appeal. And those are the people. Now, if you go to some of these cons, you'll see people that write Marvel or draw or create artwork that's based on Marvel or DC. Mm-hmm. They've got a built-in fan base. They may each have a unique take on how they're going to draw that, but there's a built-in fan base. Everybody else said, why are you doing zombies? You know what? I'm a fan of the genre, but I also knew how to target the fan base. I knew where they would be. Yes, I've got my own take, but I knew who I was targeting. Now, I know who I'm targeting. It's not for everybody. It's for people that come to shows like this, people that exhibit at shows like people that want to do stuff like this. That's it. This is not for the person that wants to be an entrepreneur and make money, big money. That's not my fan base. So yeah, if you are loyal to your vision and you don't worry about mass appeal, great. Do it, man. But don't consider yourself a failure if you don't have mass appeal, because that's not what it's all about.
Now, with you had mentioned for your own writing, how it's very isolating. Doing fiction, just you and your characters, you and your story. How different was it working on something like this, where it's more interacting with other people instead of just in your head? Yeah,
this I liked a lot more because it was talking to other people, hearing their feedback, doing what you do, probing. Why are they doing this? And it's not just like, oh, I was an artist and I want to, everybody's got their own story. Why did they become an artist? How did they make that leap from I'm drawing on the weekends in my room to have some fun to I'm going to make something that's more mass produced and I can go out and sell it? How did you make that leap? And that was interesting. It was finding and probing and getting that out of people.
So in your book is kind of like a best practices for this type of person?
Yes. So what I do is I talk about my own history and how I started, my own advice and guidance. And I tell in the beginning of the book, this is not a book on how to run your business. I'm not going to go into the finances and the legal and how to structure your corporation and all that kind of stuff. There's 1,000 books like that, 1,000,000 books like that. I wanted to talk about the specifics of how to really get your passion moving to action, how to better get return when you come to trade shows like this and exhibit, how to engage with your fans, how to grow a fan base. And then I interviewed actually 20 people, of which 18 are in the book, but I highlight 12. Now, fandom is a very broad topic. I couldn't boil the ocean on fandom. My passion is zombies. So I took 12 people who were inspired by the show The Walking Dead. And each of them launched a business based on that fandom. Now, this is not a The Walking Dead book. This is for any fandom, but I couldn't cover every fandom in one book. I wanted to pick a fandom, but the lessons learned are attributable to any line.
So it's a universal topic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whether it's Game of Thrones or Supernatural or Enchanted or whatever your fandom is.
Excellent. Well, before we let you go, would you like to answer a mystery question?
Sure.
Awesome.
All right. Here is old Quarters the
Quarters
Ghost.
the Ghost, Keeper of the Quarters.
Keeper of the
All right.
Quarters.
All right, I pick it.
There you go.
Yep,
All
and it is a
right.
question for you.
Be for you to answer. They can be a little difficult.
I know.
And supposedly made
Some
for
of them,
children, right?
so-
There we go.
Who are your 3 favorite kids?
Yeah.
Now that is odd because I have 2 kids and a third that lives with me is my nephew. So it'd be Sasha,
Yeah.
Hannah, and Jimwell.
Wow, spot on.
easy.
How fitting.
Yes.
So where can people find about your book online?
So, Business is Dead can be found at businessisdead.com, spelled out, or fantrepreneur.com, spelled like entrepreneur, but only with fan in front, so fantrepreneur.com. Then my other 3 books, Exit Zero Zombie Trilogy, can be found at exitzerozombie.com. And then everything else, social media, Twitter, Instagram is all at Exit Zero Zombie, spelled out. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I cornered the market on Exit Zero Zombie, even exitzerozombie at gmail.com. One of the things in my book is consistency in marketing. And then Business is Dead will also be at Barnes & Noble nationwide October 1st, but businessisdead.com or fantrepreneur.com, and you can order it online.
Excellent.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much for sitting with us, Neil.
Thank you,
appreciate it.
guys. Thank you.